The Brown Park podcast is brought to you by Grow Clinics. They're Australia's leading hair transplant clinics, and you can go to growclinics.com.au.
What is news? Hello.
Oh, hello. Oh, you're starting today.
Am I?
I don't know.
Oh, well, there you go.
You just did.
G'day, mates.
Normally, yeah. Hello.
Usually, hey.
I was thrown.
Me too.
Guest today is a lovely lady by the name of Lauren Brandt Hall. You may have known her from Hi-5 when you were a child.
Well, why only a child? Maybe I like Hi-5 now.
That's between you and your God.
Thank you very much.
Also the wife to the legendary Barry Hall, a previous guest on this podcast.
And she was on My Celebrity Get Me Out of Here.
I'm a Celebrity Get Me Out of Here.
She got the hell out of there.
She did. And
With a man.
And she found a husband as well. Look, we're going to chat to her in person on the Brown Park podcast, so hang around.
The Brown Park podcast.
Question.
Hit me.
Our guest today, Lauren Brandt Hall.
Mm-hmm.
Right. She was on I'm a Celebrity Get Me Out of Here. Have you ever watched that show?
No.
Okay. So they quite often will ask the celebrities to do some pretty disgraceful things, like eat some disgraceful things, like eyeballs.
Eyeballs.
Yeah, like animal eyeballs.
Like fish eyeballs or something.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
They have also been known to offer them like an anus that they have to eat.
Okay.
Yep. On the show.
Mm-hmm. Okay, right.
Not the fellow cast members.
Well, you know, that's a different type of get me out of here.
That's a late night get me out of here.
Or get me into here.
Could you do that? You have the weakest stomach of anybody I know.
No, I couldn't. Well, it depends. I could probably do an eyeball if I put it in my mouth and just could scull it with water.
Yeah, you can scull it with water.
Then, yeah, I could probably do that.
But you have to prove it afterwards that it's gone.
Yeah, see, I'm almost gagging right now thinking, as long as I could, swallow without having to chew or anything like that, because I'm textural. That's my thing. Like,
so then you could actually find yourself in like a situation where they're pouring elephant piss over you and you'd be okay, but drinking elephant piss, not okay.
Well, no, I could do that, I reckon, because I'd scull it. It wouldn't be the worst thing I've sculled in my life, don't worry.
Lauren Brandt / Hall. Hello.
Hello.
How are you?
Good.
Before we start, there we go.
Wow.
If we drink anything, we choose nectar.
You guys are all over it. Love it. I literally cannot drink it right now, but I'm here in spirit.
Oh, why is that, Lauren?
Pregnant.
Oh, look out.
Again.
Number 4.
Yep, we did it again.
You like to be busy, don't you?
Apparently.
Ooh.
Yeah. No,
Jesus.
it's awesome. Barry and I always said we wanted 4 children, and we've got a super colourful life.
Yeah.
Both of us are just really spontaneous people and go with the flow, and all of our babies have just been delivered to us as the universe saw fit.
Yeah.
And we've just gone with it.
So none planned. It was all just kind of like, oh, if it happens, it happens.
So the second one, we said would like to have a second one.
Yep.
And we tried.
Yep.
But, I mean, what's even trying? We've obviously tried having fun. I don't know.
We all try.
All worked out.
I've had a vasectomy and I'm still trying, you know.
Love that.
Yeah.
And, and then the other 3, they just arrived and gave us a big surprise. So
You've wanted 4, though, didn't you?
do you know what? There's this little clip on I'm a Celebrity Get Me Out of Here. That's where I met Barry.
Yeah.
We had no idea who each other were. We came from completely different worlds, obviously. And I was actually engaged to someone, and he was fresh out of a divorce. The divorce hadn't happened, actually. And there's a little clip of us sitting in a waterfall where we had to wash ourselves, and I was shaving his hair with a wooden disposable razor. And I just said to him, you know, who are you and what are you going through in your life? And he said he was going through a divorce. And I said, did you have any kids? And he said no. And that was the thing he was most saddened about, is that he loves children. He's always wanted children. And he said he'd always wanted 4. And I made a joke and I said, I would have them for you, except I'm engaged. Sorry.
Challenge accepted.
Holy. Okay.
Do you know what? I dug that piece up, and I'm definitely going to share it at some stage and with the kids and just say, boys, you got to be careful what you wish for.
Yeah, that's it. Because without that moment, you might not have been here with your family and everything.
Yeah.
Or
I don't know
with
if I
somebody.
ever would have crossed paths with Barry if it wasn't for that show. We were sitting in a waterfall in the middle of South Africa. Like, ridiculous.
Well, yeah, if you're going to meet someone, you're not going to actually meet there, are you? Unless it's extenuating circumstances. So the universe definitely brought you together for sure.
Yeah, and that's what I mean by we've got such a colourful life, is that's how we met. And I guess every story after then has sort of followed on from that, something big and bizarre.
Because looking at the two of you, I don't mean this in any kind of detrimental way, you don't look like the type that would, you from different worlds almost.
Yeah, 100%. Like, career's one thing, children's entertainment and TV and professional sportsmen.
Yeah.
But our backgrounds and our families and our interests, like, everything is different. We have nothing actually that, we don't like the same flavour ice cream. We don't like the same.
That's why it works.
Opposites attract.
Everything is different, I know. But deep down inside we have, I guess our biggest thing in common is our absolute love for children. And that's because of the honesty. We just find, you can't get that really anywhere else except in children. Our hate for adults and our love for children is probably
there you go. And is that why you had 3, Christo? You hate for adults?
Possibly, yes.
or is it the intellectual connection that you actually like better with the kids?
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah, we're breeding our own friends.
Yeah, exactly.
I love it.
Exactly right. Sometimes I think that and I go, I've just bred my own friends and it's great.
Yeah.
All right, let's go back. When we were talking about you coming on the podcast, the most interesting thing was that you said, I don't think I've got much to share.
Yeah.
And I've gone, are you fucking kidding?
I know. I held it off because of that, actually.
Like, you have a very interesting life.
Thank you.
That's all right. Even though you don't necessarily think so. But from the outside looking in, people are interested in, well, because you and Barry are a couple in your life together and how that all works, and your children who are all like blonde, Scandinavian-looking children.
Are they all blonde, are they?
Blonde hair, blue eyes.
Where'd they get the blonde? Was Baz blonde before he lost it?
Yeah, he's got that very Scandinavian. He was like a Viking from back in the day.
He looks like a Viking, doesn't he? Jesus Christ, imagine going toe-to-toe with him back in the day.
Hi-5.
Yeah.
How did you... So that was that must seem like a lifetime ago from
How long
now.
ago was that?
2009 is when I went into Hi-5.
What were you doing before Hi-5?
So I've always been a performer. Being creative is just my passion. And, I just love the thrill of expressing myself through acting and dancing and singing and dressing up and all of that. So I've got 3 older brothers, and I was, I guess, your quintessential girly girl. And I was just basically preparing to be in something like Hi-5.
So how did that come about?
So I had a manager when I was so young. I had no idea what
How
that
old were you
meant.
when you went in? So how old were you
No,
then?
I was 19
Okay.
when I joined. But she just basically called and said there's an audition for Hi-5. And I knew straight away that was my job.
Yeah.
I had little niece and nephew that were 2 and 1. And I actually was watching Hi-5 with them. And I had thought when I saw it, that's my job. So the audition came up. And from the moment I got the audition, I just knew that I was going to get it.
So Hi-5 was already existing when you jumped in?
You were round 2, weren't
so
you?
I was round 2.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And so, it was quite a lengthy audition process, flying back and forth to Sydney a few times, and it was a cut down process as well. Like it started with a one-on-one audition just to see if they were interested, and then they invited a whole group back, and we would just all take turns in different formations, singing and dancing and getting to know the choreographer and the director and the producers. And basically you'd either get invited back or not until it was down to 2 people, and they were looking for 2 people. So
You guys got it. Did you have any creative input within the group, or was it you just you're going to sing this is what you're doing?
Yeah,
off you
so
go?
it was fully scripted. We had incredible people working on the show, and it was all child education based. So if you've ever sat down and watched an episode, guys,
I have.
you'll actually learn something.
My kids back in the day, it was Hi-5, the Wiggles. We've gone through it all.
But I learned so much being on the show.
Did you?
Doing
All right, there you go.
doing the educational pieces. I don't know how much I remembered, but I was learning. And then towards the end, I actually got interested in designing our costumes. So the last series, I designed all of my costumes that I wore on the show, and then I had a little label that sold replica costumes of what we wore.
Oh, perfect.
Yeah, so I started to sell that throughout all of our tours, a lot through Southeast Asia and Australia. There was a thought about maybe I should continue, but not right now.
Well, when you've got 8 balls running around the house, maybe women, girls' clothing isn't on top of mine. So, yeah.
Well, you could do little man's clothing.
Yeah, well, they've all worn the dresses, the boys. They think they're fun.
They're going to hate listening to this back when they're older, aren't they? Hey?
So I want to ask a question about Hi-5, though, because there's this thing that everybody sees the Wiggles and go, oh,
rich.
They're rich.
Yeah.
Oh, I know. Have you not Googled me?
Yeah, it says your net worth is like 25 million.
Yeah,
is that about right?
I know. Barry's worth like 90 million. It's so cool. The difference between the Wiggles and Hi-5 was they own themselves.
Yeah.
So they were the creators and the owners of the show. So they basically decided what they were going to do with all of their money and were really driven to keep getting bigger and expanding and stuff.
Was there a part of you going, come on, just let me join the Wiggles?
No, because at that stage I think it was there were 4 men.
Oh, yeah, no, it was too. Yeah, that's very true.
Well, was there a party that wanted to just go out with a collective group and do your own, like a, high
There
six
was,
or something?
When I had joined, the original creators of Hi-5 had just sold it to Channel 9 and Southern Cross.
Yep.
And then they were looking to sell it. And I was desperate to try and find a way that we could buy it.
Yeah.
Whether it was the whole group or just myself and anyone else that was interested. I just couldn't find millions of dollars.
How much was it worth?
I don't know how much it sold for, but it would have been.
Is it still on?
Is Hi-5 still around? No.
Well, not that I know of. Not that I know of. So it ended up selling to an equity company that was owned by a Malaysian group.
Okay.
Because it was very popular. We were like rock stars over there. It was crazy. And then they just took it in a different direction, buying super cheap merchandise, but put a 1,000% markup on it, and then making us do more shows. It just lost the magic.
Yeah. That's what private equity does. Private equity get in there, they run it as lean as they can, and then, with the ultimate goal of selling it off at some point. But
I ended up resigning because of the fact that I felt it lost its heart.
Yeah.
And, I was just a workhorse in the end.
Yeah. I really wanted to buy Humphrey. Remember Humphrey B.
I did some Humphrey B. Bear before Hi-5,
yeah.
Did you get out of town? What, you were in the costume or no? You
I
went
was
on the
like
show?
the hostess.
Well,
yeah.
On the actual show?
On the live shows, not the TV.
Yeah, because Humphrey was up for sale a while back, and I'm like, I would love to buy
the bear that wears no pants.
Yeah, and he doesn't say anything. Like, that's a perfect job for you.
Exactly.
Hey?
Brown
Punk. Big thanks to Grow Clinics for continuing to support the Brown Park podcast. And has your confidence dimmed alongside your thinning hair? Do you find yourself avoiding mirrors, hiding beneath hats, longing for the days your hair danced in the wind? Well, you're not alone. Hair loss can take a toll, but it doesn't have to steal your joy. With Grow Clinics, you can rewrite your story. They offer a path to rediscover your vibrant self, a journey towards a thicker, healthier head of hair, and their innovative techniques delivered by compassionate experts can transform not just your appearance, but your perspective. At Grow Clinics, they understand the emotional weight of hair loss. They believe in empowering you with personalised solutions, honest advice and unwavering support. You're not just a patient, you're a partner in rediscovering your confidence strand by strand. So don't let hair loss dim your inner glow. Take the first step towards a fuller, happier you. Contact Grow Clinics today for a free consultation and learn how they can help you rewrite your narrative at growclinics.com.au.
Coming up this season on Two Lives.
I've wasted too many years of my life focusing on what's wrong with me. What I have learned through this is that I am enough. Damn it, I'm good enough.
It was tough to disappoint my mother. It was tough to watch my father feel like he failed. That was hard. So, I turned my life around in prison.
It actually was very comforting to know I'm not a bad person trying to get good. I was a sick person trying to get well.
All that and more in Season 9 of Two Lives.
The Brown Podcast.
So after Hi-5, what did you end up doing? Or you just decided to take a bit of a chill out for a while? Or
So, no, I was fresh and keen to really get into the industry and do something different. I was living in Sydney. I had a pretty good, big time management group. And the first thing I did was a pantomime with Bonnie Lithgow.
Yep.
I played Princess Jasmine in Aladdin, which was cool because I didn't even have to audition. I think
they just gave it to you.
Yeah. Oh, do you know what? That was off the back of I'm a Celebrity, Get Me Out of Here.
Yeah.
So that was the first thing that I did.
Yeah.
I'm quite sure I got paid the least amount out of anyone in the show because I was just like, yes, I'll do a show. No,
damn it.
Yeah, I'm
Don't pay her.
so
Fuck.
keen.
Yeah.
Did that one for free. But I did that show, which was cool. And I mean, when I look back at it now, media is such a selfish career. And it has to be because you're your business, your own business, like it's you. So there's such a fine line between who you are as a person, who you are as a business. And I was just very confused, I think, between what was what. So I was quite an open person when looking back on it. You do have to rein it in and go, okay, this part's business and this part's personal. You got to keep a lot of emotion out of it.
So how long between Hi-5 and I'm a Celeb?
Oh, just a few months.
Oh, was it?
Yeah.
So you were in Hi-5 that long?
How long were you in Hi-5 for?
About 5.5, 6 years.
Okay.
And when was
Yeah.
I'm a Celebrity? I mean, I could probably try and reverse math that, but
Yeah,
I'm not going to.
2015.
Okay.
Was it that long ago now?
Yeah.
Then how did I'm a Celebrity Get Me Out of Here come about?
So same thing. I had this manager who was a great person. Actually, I know.
I was going to say, is there sarcasm in that or not? No.
I put that there because most of them aren't. But this one was. She ended up quitting management because she thought, hey, these guys are all wankers.
I can't deal with all these dickheads.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Yeah. And she just said there had been some interest for me in another show, which she put me up for, and she was the casting director. So that was her job before manager. And then she got given the opportunity to be a manager, and she said, will you come on and be one of my clients? Because she had had interest in me. I don't know why, but I was the redhead.
I don't know why.
Hi-5.
Listen to you. You sell yourself short all the time.
Yeah.
Come on now.
Oh, kind. So that basically came up. She said, would you be interested in doing it? And I was like, yeah, I would. I was just up for anything. Yeah. When I say I was up for anything, I mean I got offered to be on the cover of Maxim, which is a men's magazine. And I was like, yeah, I will. I didn't really think into it. I've grown up with brothers. I'm pretty good with the male banter. I don't take offense to anything. I'm not sensitive at all. And I had worked my butt off. I was doing CrossFit at the time, and I was really proud of how fit I was as a female. So when they said, do you want to get in a bikini and pose? I was like, yeah, I do.
For sure, yeah.
Yeah, I was really proud of.
You've worked hard to do it, and that's, a lot of women do pull women down that have put in the work sometimes.
Yeah, and then I did the cover, and then I got a spot on the project, and Ita Buttrose wouldn't even look at me in the eye because I'd sexualized myself in the front of a men's magazine.
Whatever, Ida. Yeah. Never heard of him.
And I was like, I'm a good person. We're ambassadors for the same charities, I just had what it took to the confidence, and so that's what I mean when I said I was just up for anything. Didn't really know about how much scrutiny you get from. I don't even know who it is. It's the media itself that scrutinise you at times. So then the opportunity for I'm a Celebrity came up, and I jumped on that, and I just enjoyed the process. But I know a lot of people go on there with a plan of this is how we're going to act because this is what we want to get out of it.
Yeah.
And I didn't. I was just having fun. And then coming out of that, Bonnie asked me to be Jasmine.
Yeah.
I guess it was the publicity that was sort of around at the time. And I did that show, which was cool.
Awesome.
And then after that, everything went a bit interesting for me.
Define interesting.
There was a big scandal that I had an affair. And that's when I really felt the scrutiny, and I basically just went to America.
Yeah.
And just stayed there for three or 4 months.
After I'm a Celeb.
Yeah, it was after the pantomime.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so I just went and spent some time on my own, and just it's really cool when you go away on your own because every decision is yours and you have to follow your intuition. So I had some interesting times there, and I've kind of got my, what happens on tour stays on tour, but by myself.
That's good.
You're your own vault.
Yeah, there's no one telling the stories. That's good.
I mean, America it's crazy. It's so different.
Yeah.
And if you know certain people, you go to certain places and you just think this is wild, you know, partying with, One Direction at that stage at certain nightclubs and going into these like speakeasies that you wouldn't even know existed. And I was living with a girl that she was actually an Australian girl, but she was a personal trainer to, John Legend and his wife and Hillary Clinton and like Drew Barrymore. Wow. So it was just, and it was so normal
in those circles. Yeah.
Yeah.
Did you get to hang out in those circles for a while?
There was a few opportunities where, I did.
That's cool.
Which was crazy. And it was just a whole nother look on life, because you think they're these, like, you put them on a pedestal when you're here in Australia, all these famous people, and then you realise they've got so much shit going on.
Yep.
Yeah, right.
You're only seeing the highlight reels like everyone else.
Oh, yeah. And they're so normal. And they're also dealing with all of the same scrutiny and everything. So, it wasn't long after that I actually came back.
So what made you come back? Was there a thing where you said, I've just got to go home now? Or you just got sick of the LA lifestyle?
I'm very close with my family. Yeah. And I was putting on heaps of weight.
Well, if you're drinking and partying every night,
And America.
Everything's large.
Yeah. So I came back and, having had put on weight and being swollen from the plane trip, the first person that greeted me was a freaking paparazzi who still follows me around, the same one for 20 years.
God.
And I was like, and he got into the elevator with me. There was nowhere to turn.
And not just snapping photos.
And I was like just staring at him. It was a red-eye flight too, so I wasn't interested. And he was just looking back at me, and I was like, this is so weird.
When you're looking your best, feeling your best.
Yeah, and one of my brothers was with me. He picked me up, and he was just like, oh, what's going on? So I came back from that and actually worked in my family's business for a little bit, because at that stage, my manager, she decided she wasn't going to be a manager anymore, and I was trying to work out, how do I handle this like bad media and this scrutiny? And I escaped for a while, but I had to come back to it.
Did you ever talk, because I've known you for a while, but I can't remember you ever actually talking about it or discussing your side of the story, or is it just something that's locked in the vault and that's it?
Yeah, I haven't, because from everything that I've experienced, being so, eager and open and honest and believing that the world is this great place.
It's not.
Yeah, it's just bit me in the butt so many times, and I've realised like sharing anything is not going to do me any good.
Yeah. No, especially in the media. Like you said, they're going to take everything negative, because negative media sells, or negative media gets the clicks.
Yeah.
So it'll serve you no purpose.
So I've never actually added any fuel to the flame at all, because it's not going to do me any good.
Fair enough.
Or my loved ones, and that's something that I have to consider.
Yeah.
If I was going to say anything, it just would be about how different the treatment is between male and female in these situations.
Oh, yeah.
It's more forgiving on the males.
100%.
For sure. Yeah.
Which for me plays a really huge role, I guess, on my ego, or just in what's right and wrong, justice, because I grew up with 3 boys, so I've always seen myself as completely equal. Like, there's nothing that they can do that I can't do, and vice versa, and good and bad.
Yeah,
and
for sure.
And look at your household. You are outnumbered.
And I keep attracting these really strong-willed males in my life. So there's definitely a lot of male energy that kind of permeates through me. So no, I'm not going to give you the scoop.
No.
Don't want to even ask that.
No. Yeah. Like this is a safe space, so we won't do that.
But honestly, an article came up the other day, and it still mentions it.
Does it really?
Yeah, it's just for like bait clicks.
Yeah.
Which, whatever. So I've moved on, and I've grown and done all of my personal growth.
Did you have to do therapy through that? I mean, how did because it would have been fucked.
I think America was kind of like my therapy.
Yeah, just getting away from it.
Yeah, I've been pretty good if I'm getting negative attention, but I personally think like I don't deserve that. I don't let it get to me.
You don't take it on you. I'm similar to that too.
I already stood up for what part I believe that, was a mistake, or what I regret, or anything like that. And I dealt with that myself. I didn't need anyone telling me what they thought I should be doing about the situation.
Yeah.
So I'm pretty good with that.
Yeah, good one.
Yeah. And then interesting though, when you talk about did I have therapy, when Barry and I started dating, it all came up.
Oh, did it? Of course it did.
He was like my therapist.
Yep.
He is just such a level-headed person. Like if you looked at pictures of our minds, his would just be a straight line, and mine would be a bloody scribble roller coaster. His it would be just straight line.
Does he get excited? Like, does he have the highs and lows? Like, does he is there something that he'd be like, woohoo, fuck yeah, this is mad? Or is it just easy
cars.
level? Right, okay, cars, yeah.
I was going to say it's not football because when we spoke to him, he goes, football's football. I'm not
Never really watched it, whatever.
Yeah. No, he loves cars. He likes a good result in UFC. Another thing, I think that's the stupidest, most barbaric, grossest sport in the world. And he is obsessed.
Yeah.
But yeah, even his high moments are short-lived, and then he gets on with it.
Yeah, right, okay.
Yeah, I know.
Good on him. Yeah.
So at what point that you came back from America did you reconnect with Barry?
So I ended up working with my family's business. They were going through a pretty tough time, and I thought that my talents, what I had to offer.
What sort of business was it?
So they were making professional uniforms for sporting teams.
Okay,
so
right.
all of the pro teams,
including
all of the AFL team. Well,
yeah, right.
What was the brand?
A big BLK.
Oh,
That's
I remember
right,
they had a place up in Beenleigh too.
Yeah, so they basically wanted someone to manage the relationships with the professional teams. Once again, that was me just jumping into a completely male-dominated world and feeling 100% comfortable. So this is actually quite an interesting love story. Every weekend I would fly to a different state to visit one of our pro teams.
Yep.
And we started noticing that Barry was flying to different states to commentate on the games for Fox Sports.
Yep. And you were still in contact with him?
Not really.
Okay.
He had reached out at one time just to say sorry for all the shit you're going through.
Okay.
I don't know if I replied, but that was it.
Playing hard to get, I like it.
Yeah, maybe in hindsight. Yeah. And then we ended up both at a Suns game, and I was there with my niece and nephew and brother, and he was commentating. And I called him, and I saw him on the field take his phone out of his pocket and screen me.
Oh, did he? You son of a bitch, Barry, I'm looking at you.
So then I took a photo of myself doing the bird
Yeah.
with him in the background, and I sent him the text. And I think he felt pretty bad about that. But at the end of the game, I was kicking that's when we could all go on. I don't know, can you still go and kick a footy on the end?
At the Suns game
they
you
don't
can,
do
yeah.
They don't do it at the Titans, I don't think.
So we were kicking a footy at the end with my nephew, and I just felt this huge man give me a bear hug from behind and lift me up. And it was Baz. And I was like, oh, hello.
Hello.
Feel bad, do you?
Oh, yeah, I'm not screening me now, are you, mofo?
Yeah. And anyway, so he kicked the footy with my nephew for a bit, which my brother thought was really cool.
Epic, yeah.
Yep.
And then he had to race off on a flight, and he said to me, next time I come up, we should actually catch up.
Yep.
And the next time he came, we did actually catch up.
So you took his call?
Screen the first one, took the second one.
Yeah, and we just had an awesome first date.
Awesome.
We just went and had dinner in Broadbeach. And
Was it a date or was it just a catch up at that stage? Did you see it as a date? Did he
I
see
think
it
we
as a
both
date?
saw it as a date.
Okay.
There was a spark when he gave me the big
There was
bear
definitely
hug.
a spark on I'm a Celebrity
Everyone
because
has said that.
because I remember seeing it going, yeah, what's going on here?
He was always like my comfortable space.
Yeah.
Well,
That's because he's so big. He's like a human pillow.
Just that grounding. If I was having a hard time, I'd just sit next to him and he would ground me. But yeah, we had that first date, and then we saw each other every weekend. So I would organise that I was visiting the teams wherever he was commentating.
Oh, well played. On the business dime too, yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
And no one knew about it.
Too good.
We were planning these little romantic
Rendezvous.
weekends everywhere. And I think it was maybe in Adelaide. We had gone to dinner at the Boathouse, I think it's called. We had oysters, we had chocolate, and I fell pregnant.
Over dinner, that easy. Wow.
Don't do that in
I
public.
looked back onto it, I was like, it was that night. But that was a huge shock because we'd only been officially dating, having had an onset for 2 months.
Wow.
Wow.
Yeah.
So the stars aligned and went, right, you and you're both stubborn, you both had selfish lifestyles, you got to get together and have these beautiful
I'm
children.
going to force the issue.
Yes.
Make it happen, yeah.
Brown.
Park.
We need to say thank you to Grow Clinics for their continued support of our podcast. Now, if you're sick of zooming in on your hairline, focusing on your thinning hair with every picture that gets taken, maybe it's time to explore a Grow Clinics hair transplant. Their experienced team combines the precision of science with the artistry of aesthetics, ensuring a hairline that looks and feels completely natural. They employ state-of-the-art technology for seamless, minimally invasive procedures that maximise comfort and recovery. Now, there's no one size that fits all here. They believe in personalised solutions, addressing your unique concerns and goals for a hair restoration journey as unique as you are. Your comfort and confidence are their top priorities. From initial consultation to post-procedure care, Grow Clinics provides a supportive environment every step of the way. We can attest to that. Grow Clinic's track record speaks for itself, so join many of the individuals who have experienced the transformative power of Grow Clinic's hair transplants. Head over to their website at growclinics.com.au to book a free consultation and tell them Brown Park sent you.
Hey, while we've got your attention,
Listen up.
we just want to ask a quick favour. If you could go to your podcast provider, wherever you're listening to this, and write a lovely review, give it a rating, do whatever you can, we would be most appreciative.
Or even at the very least, just hit that little subscribe button so then the episodes when we release them come up in your feed.
Exactly. That is all. Thanks to the show.
As you were.
Thank you.
Brown Podcast.
I wanted to ask, you posted on your socials that the story about baby number 4 is interesting.
Yeah, they did it in a restaurant.
I don't know.
Last night, no.
Yeah. I don't know whether you wanted to share that yet.
Yeah, I can. So we definitely knew that we wanted to have a 4th baby, but we just were dealing with 3.
Yeah, which is hard work.
Yeah,
Do you get much
I think-
sleep? Are the kids, you got 3 now.
No,
Are they
I
all
haven't slept
sleeping?
for 7 years.
No,
Yeah, I
because
bet.
3 under 7 is like,
Yeah.
I've got 3 under 13, and that's okay. 13, 10, and
Yeah.
8. That's not bad now. But
Yeah.
3 under 7 is like, oh my God.
Yeah, and I've been breastfeeding straight for 5 years. I haven't
Yeah.
had a break. I've like tandem fed.
Jesus.
Yeah.
It's been insane.
And now you're going to do it again.
Well, yes, I know. I'm trying to get the second one somewhat weaned, but the third one somewhat weaned.
Yeah.
I'm losing track. So look, we were just like, maybe we'll wait a little bit before we have the 4th because
Yeah.
we're really under the pump here. We also choose to homeschool.
Yeah, I was going to
so we have
say.
no childcare, no kindy, no school, nothing.
So it's the two of you. Who does the majority of the homeschooling?
Well, we're unschooling, which means we don't do anything. We just live through life and follow our
Okay.
children's passions and interests.
Do you just get them to watch the episodes of Hi-5, the ones that add value, and or you sing it to them? There you go.
We also have a no screen rule, so
Do
they're
you?
only
Yeah.
allowed one movie a week on a Friday night.
Wow, good job.
But it makes it hard because the TV's like a babysitter.
Oh,
Yeah.
for sure.
Yeah. But they do love Hi-5, so
So there's
When I-
no screens at all, no iPads, no nothing.
no,
Oh, I admire that so much.
unless they go to my grandparent, like their grandparents.
Yeah, and then it's
And
like
they
the whole
get their
time.
fix.
They live there now.
They walk back with square eyeballs.
I mean, it affects them though. Man, I
Yeah.
see it
Yeah,
with
they
my
get off
kids
grumpy.
because we don't have that policy. But yeah, you can see if they've had too much time on the
Yeah.
screen, they turn into little assholes.
And then when they go to the grandparents go, oh, they're so easy to look after. Wait a minute, they're just on the goddamn iPad the whole time.
and you
You
fed
did
them
nothing.
sugar the whole time.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that's the thing, because they're with us all the time. If we've given them screen time and they've turned to assholes like
Yeah,
you
yeah.
said, I probably wouldn't say that.
Well, they do.
We can't send them anywhere. Like they don't go to kindy the next day or school.
Yeah.
They're with us.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
I'm like,
Gotta cop it.
damn it.
Yeah.
But anyway, well, you invited a female onto the show, so let's go there. I hadn't had like my period or my cycle or my bleed since Samson, who's my 2-year-old.
Yep.
And so I thought, let's just concentrate on like trying to get that back because it's a very healthy part
Yeah.
of a female.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I was working really hard at just being super fit and super healthy and trying to get some sleep. And then I wasn't getting sleep, and then I was really tired, and then I had no motivation, and I was like, what is wrong with me? And that went on for ages. And then I went to Pilates, and my tights were a bit tight, and I felt really nauseous doing the upside down stuff.
And you went, hello.
So I thought, I've just got to do a test. And so I did a test, like not even thinking anything, and a second line came up, and I just yelled at Barry, and I said, and this is pregnancy, by the way, not COVID.
I was going to say, you don't wee on COVID test, do you?
Not yet.
And I just went, there's a second line. And he was like, what are you talking about? What are you doing? And I'm like, it's a pregnancy test. And he was like, what? Oh, the line looks faded. Try it again tomorrow. So I was like, yeah, good idea. And we just parted ways for the day. And then the next morning I did my first wee of the morning, which is the best time to test.
That's the strongest one.
It was still,
Yeah.
it was the potent. It was still there, the second line. So I went for a walk and got a different type of test, the digital one that says literally the word pregnant.
Yeah.
And that came up, and I was like, no, Barry, I think we're on.
This
Yeah.
is on, yeah. And you hadn't had your period in 2 years.
Well, this is the thing. I never had a bleed. So most girls would think, I'll test to see if I'm pregnant because they've missed a period.
yeah.
I didn't have that. So,
Do you know why? Or is it just because you've been on for like 7 years? Or
I think I get low in iron, and I honestly think that my body was just saying, okay, we'll ovulate, but I'm not going to lose iron every month.
do you go and get your iron done?
I have had infusions, but do you know what I take? Beef liver capsules. Or if you have raw beef liver, it's even better. It's the best source of iron.
Yeah.
Yeah, it works wonders.
So then how do you know how far along the baby is?
So I didn't.
Yeah.
I didn't. And by the time I tested, I was 7 weeks. So that's why I was
hell.
feeling so tired.
Yeah.
Lucky I didn't have any of those crazy big nights. You know how people
Yeah,
are like,
no
I
benders
got
or
so
anything, yeah.
drunk and I didn't even know I was pregnant. But it's such a surprise when you find out that way. We were super happy.
But super shocked.
Maybe about a week ago.
Well, once you processed it, you were fine.
To be honest, I just went, oh my gosh, how are we going to do this? Because I'd already been feeling so tired from obviously having been pregnant, not knowing it.
Yeah.
And I just looked at Barry and I was like, how are we going to do this? And he's like, we'll work it out.
I want to ask about homeschooling or unschooling.
Yeah.
Hats off to you for doing it. I have 3 kids and there's no way that I can do it.
COVID was the worst for us, wasn't it? Like when we had to home.
Well, you've got one. So
yeah, I know.
I think you
It's
should
true.
stay out of this conversation.
Well, very true, very true. Hey,
You can borrow one of mine, maybe.
No, I'm good. You know, one and done.
Obviously, there will be cynics out there that go, "Oh, you can't do that." What does an average day for you look like in a unschooling?
Don't worry. My dad's a bit of a cynic, so
Okay.
I'm used to it. So our whole belief is it's pretty much the first 7 years.
Yeah.
I don't know if you guys know of Rudolf Steiner, who has the Waldorf education
Heard of him.
philosophy. I really dived deep into that. I just felt when we had these children, I was like, oh, this is the most awesome version of a human ever.
Yeah.
And then they just get ruined.
Yeah.
Well, that's what school does. You've got to fall in line, follow the rules. If you don't get this mark, then you're not a success and all this type of thing. Like, man, and that's what I felt right through school.
The testing, constant testing.
Yeah.
That's the same for every child, but every child is different.
Totally.
So Steiner really looked at every child as an individual soul, which they are, and that they have a destiny, and it's your job as their nurturer to let them fulfill what that is without any boundaries.
Okay.
So that's the idea. And the first 7 years of their life is where all of their pathways are formed in their brain that will make them perceive the world and react to the world in their individual ways. And sometimes it can be to their detriment unless you've, got this perfect world for them, which is what we're trying to allow for our children basically. It's just that they can be whoever their little souls want and need and desire to be. It's very testing on us as parents because we were brought up in generations where we were told this is the expectation, sit down, shut up, do this, this is good, this is bad. Boys do this, girls do this.
Yeah.
So Barry and I, it's called unparenting, where we're constantly triggered by things that we would have got in trouble for or weren't allowed to do when we were younger, but now we have to have a different look at it for our children. So it's really hard work, but what you get out of it is just these full, colourful children that know about emotions and expressing themselves and interest. So, a day for us is basically catering to whatever everyone needs in that day, and we all support each other, knowing that we're all different. And oh my goodness, my children could not be more different from each other.
Yeah.
It's like a dance.
Yeah.
We're all just dancing around each other. There's pushback. There's forgiveness.
And you're both involved in this every day?
Yeah, we really are. And everyone actually asks us, your careers were soaring and you could be doing this and this and this and this, but we have a solid intention for this stage of our children's life, for every first 7 years of all of our children to be completely present. That's basically what it is. And there will be a stage where my children will need to learn things like reading and writing. But when they do, it'll be their choice and they'll be ready and they'll pick it up like that.
So will it be school or not? So will it be school at any traditional type of school at any point, or you don't see that?
I think if we did a school, it would be a Steiner school. Right. So there's some amazing ones around.
Yeah.
But it will be when our children say, can we go?
Yeah, good job.
How does it go about forming friendships? You said there's a homeschooling group.
Yeah.
Do you get your kids together and they all play and things like that so they get that interaction?
Yes.
Yeah.
So my oldest belongs to a beautiful group. We call it a village. And it's not just, it's like I said, we're unparenting ourselves too. So all of us as parents are learning to receive, which is something that we don't do. So, when one of us has a baby, all of the mums for the first 6 weeks make sure that home-cooked meals are delivered every single day for the whole family.
That's really
excellent,
cool.
Yeah.
If someone's down or needs something, we're all there. If someone needs help, like with a child, because homeschooling is hard, it's like, I have to take this child to an appointment. Can anyone have this child for something? Then we'll do that. But the resources for homeschooling have expanded so much since COVID.
Yeah.
Like there's even, Miller does skateboarding and it's a homeschool lesson at 11 o'clock on a Thursday. They're catering to...
So they actually come to your house, teach them how to skateboard?
No, we go to their facility,
but
they've put on homeschool lessons because they recognise there's so many children being homeschooled.
Cool. My kids have been pushing for homeschooling for about 13 years now.
Well, see, and I get it because, we've spoken about it before, but school for me was hell because I had ADHD and I just didn't learn like every other kid. And I was always, that naughty kid, the class clown, all this type of stuff. And I didn't finish year 10 because I just was that time for me to get the hell out of there and get a trade.
You're like in prison for all that time.
Absolutely. I was, fighting to go to school every day. It was pain for mum to send me. So I love that now there's a, I guess an alternative path for parents to go, all right, well, maybe schooling isn't for him, let's try something else. And like I say, school for me I really didn't learn much. I was always bottom of the class. But once I got out of school, that's actually when I started to thrive.
Yes.
So it's,
you just needed permission to be whoever you wanted to be and make your own choices and follow your instinct.
And fuck up a lot. But anyway,
I mean, that's the other thing. Like we are all for our kids, like making mistakes.
Totally, yeah.
Because they will learn so much more from that. And taking away all kind of expectations. Parents get so excited, like, oh, my child's 5 and they got the award this month and, like, they kicked this many goals in soccer or whatever it is. And it's like, that's going to change. They're going to give up on that sport next year.
Yeah, that's it. It means nothing.
Have any of your kids got interest in footy?
No. I think we're going to have, like, there is a real desire for speed and
car
adrenaline.
racing.
I think we're going to have some serious cars. There's like go-kart racing already happening.
Well, Barry already has a collection, doesn't he? Last time... The face.
Now, look, not to pigeonhole anything, but that's a real woman response, I swear to God.
Well, that's his first love.
Yeah.
And then I'm like his second wife. So, look, I think if I said everything in our relationship was perfect and rosy...
You'd be lying.
Of course I'd be lying, but
I think everybody would be.
Everyone would go, oh, vomit, like, come on, be realistic.
Yeah.
And definitely one of the factors is these bloody cars.
Yeah, but you know what? The cars don't talk back.
Oh,
here we go. Don't.
I'm on Barry's side on this thing.
Lauren.
Yes.
You said you didn't have a story to tell.
Oh, and then I talked my ass off, didn't I?
You have a story to tell.
Oh, thank you.
And thank you for joining us on the show.
Thank you for showing
so
your
much.
interest in my humble little life.
It's an interesting life to watch. I like it. Very good.
Thanks. More to come. Watch this space.
The Brown Podcast.
Why are you happy?
Because I don't want to be sad.